Alright, so today's video, we're watching a Plat 4 tank on console. We're going to see them, only play a couple heroes here. They're going to see Sigma, Zarya, Winston, Roadhog, Orisa. And they say, I've been playing Overwatch since the game was released, and in these 8 years, which is crazy to think that Overwatch has been out for 8 years, even longer if you played in the beta, I have never seen a competitive match as chaotic as this one. The enemy DPS were doing great and managed to get 95 eliminations combined. However, the enemy tank and supports couldn't defend the payload. The enemy Sombra was focusing on my DPS, who couldn't defeat her during the match, ending up with 35 deaths, almost as much as the entire team. Are these combined stats? Did somebody have 35 deaths, or are you combining stats? Because if you're combining stats, it gets confusing. It has to be combined deaths, right? Like, there's no way. Like, is that even possible? In this match, I switched characters many times, which I generally think is bad, but it worked out. I must confess that I played very poorly in this match, and I know I should have fallen back more to protect my DPS. But at the same time, keeping Sombra busy was what led us to victory. I don't think they linked the scoreboard. Oh, they did link the scoreboard. Oh my, they had 35 deaths. They went 22 and 35. One of the DPS was 65 and 8. The most elims on the blue team that we're about to watch was 28 elims. And the Junkrat went 22 and 35. Do they win this game? Because I hope they do. Because we obviously get the submissions all the time that talk about stats. I am going to lose it laughing if the blue team wins this game. Let's do it.
The barrier.
Alright, so far you're on Sigma. Oh, wait. A little bit of a strategy you can do for people on Shivali is it's okay to start up here and then drop when the cart gets to here. And the reason why you do this is it just gives you time to also defend this angle. Sometimes if you give up this part of the map too early, right here, they take that and then they just have you. But if you hold it for a little bit longer, for like an extra second, you can kind of stay at this angle right here. Stay at this angle and then drop down to here before the cart gets to the corner. And then if they do retake at that point to go take high ground like that, you can also rotate around and meet them there. But if you drop really early and you play here, it actually gives them opportunity to take this high ground, and then you can't really retake it. So it's just kind of like a slight strategy that, like, I think can actually apply in all ranks. If you're not playing the close strat, like, every rank could probably benefit from starting here and then dropping as the cart went here. Usually, I kind of let each rank play each part of the map differently, but that's something that you can do to, like, make the map a little bit easier, especially on the first part of that, so. Yep, rock. You're playing close. Okay, so what's the problem you're running into there? You see how you just left your shield there? I know you were trying to block some of the shots in your teammates, but at a certain point, you need to reset that shield. What's amazing is apparently they had 35 deaths, chat, and that Junkrat hasn't died yet. Or maybe it was the Reaper that had the 35 deaths. It was one of the people that had it. Maybe it was the Reaper, actually. I think they ended up switching, like, roles for heroes. Playing here is okay for now. I'm okay with this. This is a good angle to hold because you can end up being up there in a second.
The barrier's weakened.
I would start backing up. I would actually... No, dying cart. Don't back up now. Dying cart. Okay, so... reason why I'm trying to let you know to die on cart here, people always ask, why do you tell people to die on cart? So look over here. Do you see the point here? If you die on cart, the cart's right here. You see this? You would die on cart. What that does, it gives time for your teammates to all respawn. I don't know what's going on over here with Reaper, but okay. If you die late here, the cart is pushing, and you have no retake. And that's why you want to die in the cart there, especially in that situation. When's a good time to know you can die in cart? I don't know. It's like a 2v5, 3v5. Your teammates are out of position. Like, it's definitely not a one fight. That's an opportunity to do that so you can retake and then go back and then have a better opportunity. But, like, this extra, like, 7 meters, 8 meters the cart went is, like, the difference maker in between your retake. And that's why it's important to do that. Wow, you went to hog real quick there. Yo, the Reaper just got a pick. Okay, so now they touch the point at 2 meters. All right? Because they had to go at that point, and now look when you get to the point. So you would have had about a 3, maybe 4 second window to wait to go to point there to have a much better regroup. Instead it becomes a scuffed regroup. And that's what happens. And then there you go. See? And as you can tell, this could have been a winnable team fight. Because look how long you survived, even when you were down in numbers. And that's why it's such an important thing to, like, do that when you're running the card. Is Bastion good for higher tiers? I mean, there's Bastions in top 500 who can make plays. I would say that the problem that we run into in top 500 games especially is that a lot of players just end up playing, like, Sojourn Tracer. And a lot of the time, even if there's a really good Bastion, you can get grinded down really easily. And, like, they just play range in you. And, like, I think it's, like, what? All I see in range right now is Sojourn, Cass, Echo, Tracer. And they just absolutely dominate. And there's, as a Bastion, you kind of get, you're so cooldown based that the downtime you have sometimes isn't worth it for, like, the consistent damage those other heroes I mentioned can do. This really is a wild game. Why is there a BAP in your spawn? That's a huge beat. What is it? Okay. Yeah, that's an unlucky hook. Good concept, though. Nice. Good job. Honestly, in these type of games, I'm going to be real with you, I love the Roadhog pick in these type of situations. Even I have been starting to go hog a little bit more when it gets to the point where, like, yeah, you go, our team just isn't gelling as much as it could, right? Our team isn't vibing as much as it could. And then, you know, you just go hog to heal yourself. Hog has become a very good ladder hero. That's for sure. People will be like, what do you mean by ladder hero? What does that mean? It's like, you know, we may turn on, you know, OW, you know, CS, right? You know, actually, we'll be live doing that. I'll be at DreamHack Dallas. For anybody going, we'll be there. And like, you might not see a hog, but like in ranked, hog is so good right now when it comes to just like, I'm not gonna like fully go with overtune, but like, you have really good damage reduction. You have good self heal, so you don't have to rely on teammates as much. Your ultimate lasts 2.5 years. Like, there's a lot of good stuff. What's happening in their spawn? That's what I mean. The Somber's just sitting in spawn. The Hog has sat on card for the past 3 minutes. I managed to go on a deep discussion about something else. That's where we're at. Basically, Hog has become a very good ladder hero in that sense. Same with, honestly, and believe it or not, you can argue that Mauga has also hit that same territory. Because Mauga is the one hero that can basically face tank a Hog all day long and just use Cardiac Overdrive and make it so that Hog, who I was mentioning is like really good on the ladder, can get outmaneuvered by a Mauga because of that. And then the Mauga can just dominate. So it's like, this is ladder we're talking about. Keep in mind, I would not doubt it if we see in pro play a lot more Winston, a lot more dive-based stuff. Heck, you might even see some Rhine comps. Rhine May comps, maybe. By the way, like, from a feedback point of view, outside of what I've given already, I can't really give you too much feedback on this part of the point because you just ran around in circles for the past 3 minutes while your team is... It just seems like basically this Torb is getting spawn camped, and then you because of that, you were able to sit in the cart the whole time. So, Somber's just been in spawn. I mean, they've been literally in spawn trying to kill the Torb the whole time. I mean, that's literally what's been happening. See? There you go. Well, now I'm starting to see how your teammate ended up with 35 deaths. I can't believe it was 35 deaths in 24-minute game. That is more than 1 a minute. That's like unreal. That's unreal numbers. I think Chad has probably seen games where you have somebody who's like, I'm really mad, I'm not playing, and they run at them over and over again. I don't even think they've hit those numbers. I mean, like, Vent in the chat probably hit those numbers every game, but that's just expected, right? You know what I mean? That's expected. Kind of a tough retake for you there. I'm also a little bit, you know, I'm going to ask this question. You said every other game? Oh, you've been improving? That's good to know. I want to ask this question because did you go Zarya because they went Orisa? And I asked that because I feel like with the way they're playing right now, going the more survivability-based hero is going to be better. And I think a lot of the time people tell you to go Zarya because they have an Orisa, but a lot of the time, I always try to tell people the counter swap aspect of tank versus tank, you don't always have to do that if it means that like the other heroes are just going to roll you. So like that's kind of what I think you did there. Don't be afraid to go something else. Just because they have another tank, you have to think about all aspects of the game. So if you're just going Zarya to try to counter their Orisa, sometimes you're also countering yourself because the other team can kind of just make it easy. You can make it easy on them, right? You know what I'm saying? Bubble your teammate. Okay, now don't bubble for a bit. Okay, well, I guess you had to. Yeah. Hey, just a suggestion on that. Zarya should be fine here. I'm telling you right now, with the way that they're playing, it's... How do I explain this? You have to think about how the retake is going to be, okay? So if the other team is snowballing you and your point is trying to get back to the point, it's a lot harder to retake as Zarya. So because they never solidified their defense, because you've never solidified your defense, you almost have to use your bubbles to get out of spawn. So by the time you even get into a position where Zarya dominates, you have no bubbles, and more than likely because you had to bubble a little bit earlier to get out of spawn, you're probably getting less energy by the time you get there, so you're not even getting the value of that energy. You see what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. Now you're on Winston, which... I'm gonna pause for a second here. Chat, whether or not this goes well, right? We're gonna ignore what happens next. We're gonna talk about this part. Why would Winston not be my #1 choice here? Nope. One person mentioned it. Chat, look at the support line for Winston right now. Look at the support line, chat. Yeah, you ain't getting healed up in that comp. So, in this type of comp, you would want to go a hero with a little bit more self-sustain. Now, keep in mind, the reason why I say we'll ignore the next part of this, because let's say that the Winston pops off here, I'm going to go, hey, you know what? It worked. I got nothing else in that one. But this is a difficult comp to make work consistently. We'll see how it goes. It could go great. It's been a deathmatch game, so maybe this ends up being brilliant because you just dive their ciphers. Well, it's become a lot harder for... So, in a lot of ranks, what ends up happening is Mercies could pocket the tank, but with the new DPS passive, it's made it a lot more difficult. It's made it a lot more difficult for Mercies to be able to... Yeah, great swap. Wonderful. Absolutely perfect. Great. I'm okay with this. You have a little bit more survivability, but honestly, I'd go Hog. If you're going to be on this comp, I actually think Hog will be your best bet. Only because they won't be able to keep you alive, unless your Mercy switches off. And like, I know once again you're going that because they have the Hog. I'm just concerned you're gonna not get the heals that you're supposed to get if your position isn't perfect. So we'll see. It could work, but it could run into the same issue. Okay, now look at your HP. How are you gonna get back to full HP? We'll find out. Okay, the DPS hasn't shot you, so you might be able to get back to full HP. They stopped shooting you. Perfect. Wonderful. All right, I'm going to see if I can... When I play Orisa or like any... I'm going to see if I can get them to stop shooting me. Why did they stop shooting at you? You would have fallen over. What rank is this? Plat. Hey, good beat. You would have fallen over. They wouldn't have been able to keep you alive. Hey, it's working. And you're dead. But you have Valk up. So guess who's getting rezzed? Guess who's getting rezzed? Get ready. 3, 2, 1, and... There you are. You got res. Perfect. Let's go. I mean, I wasn't wrong. They did get res. It just wasn't by mercy. Great. Wonderful. Don't you love some deathmatch Overwatch where you get the point after all of that amazing gameplay that we just watched? I would not doubt it if they have some type of Mercy buffs going into Season 11. Because Mercy's is in a spot where, like, the Season 9 changes really affected how the playstyle can be for Mercy. Did you have fun right there? I think it's probably going to be a situation where you're probably going to switch off. Now you get res. Wonderful. Okay, here we go. You're going to somehow win this team fight and stay alive on Orisa. This is going to be great. I can't wait. Yep, wonderful. This is great. Perfect. Oh, the Hog's in a flank with 2 HP. Here we go. That missed? I don't even know how that missed. I'm actually more than I think it's more skillful to miss that javelin than it is to hit that javelin right there. That's how I look at it. Whenever I miss like the easiest shot or javelin, I always say it takes more skill to miss that shot than it does to hit it at that point. So if anything, that was just impressive, right? Dwarves getting farmed again. Yeah, and I think, well, like, but then, like, at the same time, it's like, if you have a Sombra back here just doing things like, what in the heck? I have never paused ever on the animation looking like that. Ever. In Overwatch. In any spectating I've ever done. I've never paused on it looking like that. But, like, if you have a Sombra who's going to their spawn and, like, EMPing your teammate and, like, making it so they can't do anything, etc., it's gonna suck for them. But guess what? This player right here finishes with 35 deaths. But you know what? If they win the game, who's the real winner here? The Sombra doing this? Or the Torb who stayed in the game the whole time and gets the dub? You could argue neither of them. But still, here we go. Be careful of peeking the window. You're a little bit out of position. Yep, okay. So, just to give you an idea, and I've done this before, don't you worry. I have peeked window many times. Your best bet is to go right side there. Window is a lot of damage. There's no point to peek it. You're not going to do anything with that. Just go to the right, hope for the best. The way their team's been playing, their positioning's been terrible anyway. You might as well just like see if you can force them into an easy limp. Thankfully, you had a great res by your Mercy, and that javelin missed. I'm okay. And remember earlier, chat, how I said the Mercy Lucio could still possibly work, and it is. But I'm telling you, I have to give you credit for going some of the heroes that you've gone with the support line that you have currently. It is a tough support line to play a tank as, unless you play a self-sustain hero, which I guess you could argue Orisa has at least damage reduction. But you're also falling over, basically. Oh, nice res again. Wonderful. This is Plat. Prolific math debater. Thanks for the 7 months of the Friedrich Prime. Thank you. Did you have fun right there? Wonderful. Storm Arrow Steve came to show you what's up. Here we go. Isn't this great? Aren't you enjoying this? Yeah, the Torb did finally kill the Sombra. How are they doing anyway? Okay, well, that answers that question. All right. I mean, they're running back. Look at it. Good job staying alive here. Yeah. Truthfully, chat, one of the major problems the other team's making right now. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Torb, it's okay. I'll watch your 1v1 here. It's not your fault. Okay. You know what? The Torb is the real MVP here. We've seen it before, and I'm sure we'll see it again, but the Torb is the real MVP. They're making sure the tank doesn't have to play against a Sombra the whole time. And back to spawn you go again. All right, back to the Torb. I'll wait for the respawn there. Okay, you got solo EMP. Wonderful. Good news, though. Your team is still pushing the cart. All right, we're heading back here now. All right, back to the Torb. No, we're going to stay in the Orisa for now. I'm going to go back and forth to see how we're going here. Okay, back to the Torb. Lucio's there to help. Everybody's here to keep the Torb's good to go. Torb should be fine. Oh, there you go. Let's go. Sorry, I get really amped up. That's what you get, Sombra. What are you going to do now? Torb's going to go roll now. Good luck. Come on, Torb. Let's go. Huge. Torb, let's go. Look at that. That Sombra messed with the wrong Torb. All right, they killed the Torb. But still, it was fun to watch. Wait, nice javelin. And your team's dead. Come on, you can do this. Hey! Hey, that's what you get! They may finish 22 and 35, but you know what? Get dominated. That's what I'm talking about right there. I don't know what your plan was there. Huge res. You know what? I'll give props to you for being able to stay on Orisa while having one of your teammates getting spawn camped, while having a Mercy Lucio backline. What else can I say? The Mercy played great. The Lucio played great. Sometimes just great gameplay can help pop off. Now the question is, can you win this game? And that is the question. You're back on Zarya. Now, is this because they were... I want to see if you hero swap this. Did you also pick Orisa for Mercy Lucio? We can talk about that for a second before we get into the game. It's not, like, necessarily a wrong pick for you. Like, if it works for you, Poventin, it can. I just find that heroes with more self-sustain, and heroes like Wrecking Ball, Roadhog, you could even say Mauga because of Cardiac Overdrive, just help that comp way more. It just like, the healing that you'll get is just not consistent. It won't be consistent. Especially, like, one of the #1 things that's happening right here is because the Sombra is so focused on trying to kill the other DPS, they're actually allowing for this tank that we're watching to not get the DPS passive on them consistently. If the DPS were shooting at the tank consistently, they would not survive as Orisa because with the way that Lucio and Mercy heal, the 20% healing reduction you will not be able to get healed up. It just will not happen. That's why I say it can be very inconsistent on the experience you'll have when you choose that hero in that comp. Back to the Zarya here. All right, careful of overcommitting now on this, but we'll see how it goes. Zarya, actually, you know what? Believe it or not, if you can play correctly with positioning, Zarya may not be bad because you have a time to bubble off some of that really heavy burst damage. So there's a chance that Zarya is not a bad pick for this if you play corners. So it's not a bad pick here. Because you can also get speed boosted too. You gotta be careful of bubbles though. So like right now you want to hide for a second. Yes, this is how you want to do this. This is how you want to do this. Nice job. Wonderful. Yeah, this can actually work. I actually am not minding this pick now. And keep in mind, remember how earlier we talked about kind of the Zarya swap? Do you see why Zarya can also work here in comparison to like the previous round that I was talking about? You're not in a retake mode, right? Where you were just running back trying to establish position and then like keep the map. You have opportunity to amp up, use the cooldowns the way that you want to use them, and you're getting a lot more value. Do you see the difference as to why like Zarya works here but didn't work earlier on defense? You see what I'm saying? Like that's kind of like the difference we're seeing now is where you can actually go and make plays and not have to like retake and take a bunch of poke damage and use your bubbles early. So this is why Zarya is good here because of that situation. So that's why it's always different with how your hero selection is going to be. That's why it isn't as like ABC as like people be like, oh well, you have to go this hero if they have that hero. That's why it isn't as like ABC as that can be. Like there's going to be different moments where like I can tell you a hero's not going to be good in one spot against the same comp, but the next spot I'll tell you that hero's good because it's all based off of the situation. Be careful. Remember, play corners, play cover in this situation. Yep. Yeah, backing up. You can grab this. Grab's a little bit better now, too. You didn't get the Ana with it, but I'm okay with that. Wow. You know what? That was a better grab than my grabs usually are. Usually I grab them, I get one shot, and they all get healed. Like, my grabs just heal the other enemy team. I'll get 5 in a grab, I get one shot, and then they all heal up. So. Is the Sombra still trying to go for your other DPS? Like, we'll see. Here we go. Okay, not bad. It's starting to feel like a nobody shoots Zarya. Yep. That's why like even though a lot of it's working, I'm also mentioning like areas to improve on Zarya. Because, like, a lot of it's going to be just about good bubble usage, good play. No, by the way, that last second sim wall might be super clutch. I'm not even kidding you. Because it spawns right here, it gives survivability to your team. That actually might have been super clutch. Listen, the Symmetra on the team may have 35 deaths by the end of this game. And it may have been a struggle at times because of what the other DPS has been doing. But there's no denying that when they've had to make a play when it matters, they have made a play when it matters. All right, you healed up the Hanzo a bit. Nice. EMP behind, trying to bubble it off somebody. There you go, perfect. Remember, you can bubble off EMP, chat. If one of your teammates gets EMP, you can see the animation. You can bubble them off to get the EMP. Nice. There you go. Did reload before grabbing? You know what? I would love to suggest that idea, but I always forget to reload. So yeah, reload before grabbing 100%, but I always forget. Because sometimes, like, you're not even... Like, sometimes, when you're, like, in, like, when you're in, like, the heat of the moment on Zarya, right? Like, sometimes what will end up happening, be like, oh, I have 3 of them at low HP. And then what end up happening is, you grab, and then you have to reload. And you're like, oh, that's a feels bad. All right, here we go. Yeah, the full charge has been working. It actually, you're kind of on the double beam comp right now. Here we go. Nice. I mean, what else can I say besides you couldn't ask for a better attack? Let's go. Keep in mind, chat, I showed the stats at the beginning of this game. Just to point out to you, their Sojourn, or I think maybe it was their Hanzo. Their Hanzo has 65 elims this game. They finished with 65 elims. The highest elim count on the blue team of the Zarya that we were watching, I think was 26 elims. You know how sometimes I've talked about how stats don't always tell the full story of a game? It doesn't mean you can't take some of the information from stats and understand things that are happening. But my point is that's why when you hard focus stats so much, you can run into that issue where there's more to what's happening. This is a game that if they win this, think about that. Count the number of Mercy reses. Oh yeah, there's been a lot, hasn't there? Hey, I mean, honestly, the Mercy Lucio comp, while I was, it worked. It straight up worked. So, is the Mythic Shop open again? Yes. As far as I understand it is, yeah. Bubble your sim, bubble your sim. I want you to do something in that situation. If you see a sim in front of you, I want you to think about this. If you see a sim in front of you and you have the bubbles, and you're in a good spot, bubble your sim, because if you like being bubbled as a Zarya, right? Think about this. You can do a double beam strategy where you bubble your sim, you bubble yourself, and then you both just shred, right? So don't be afraid to do that and then use the corner where you're at to hide. Also, once again, a suggestion on the starting spot, you can start up high and then drop down after if you want to.
Going for the new personal best.
Oh, you're the Zarya? Heck yeah. Is this console? Yeah, this is plat. You said Mercy plus Lucio works great in your opinion? I mean, listen, if it works, it works. That's the best I can say with that. That's it. Watch out to your right. How to change the elim sound? Sure, I'll show you in 1 second. Yeah, just go for the bubble limb. Nice. That worked out. I mean, you're going to get rolled here, but it's all about building ults now. All right. Come on. You got this, Torb. I'm a little bit concerned with the overpeel here, but I'll give it to you. I want to see how this goes. Okay. Yeah. So the problem with you just chasing the venture there is that you're giving up too much space. So what needs to happen there is you need to, if you're all gonna chase, you all have to chase. You all have to commit to that. If you don't, then you're giving up too much space for the other team, and the venture's actually getting way more value than they should there. Does that make sense? At that point, the venture's getting way more value than they did before because you just did that. Yeah, that way you all rotate out and then can rotate back in. But that's how you get stuck in these isolated 2v5s, 3v5s, rather than holding an advantageous spot like the corner here and being able to kind of make this fight difficult for them and maybe force out an ultimate. You played way to what in the world? It's okay. You kind of give them more map control, and sometimes map control, even if it's 4v5, can be good too. And that's what ended up happening, and you ended up going into a spot where they just got rolled. So. All right, here we go. Make sure to track ultimates because you just grabbed and you knew they had those ults. Overcommit into your ult. There you go, you're dead. Yeah, just get ready to retake. I would recommend switching off Zarya for this retake. Only this retake only. Your Zarya play's been fine, but you need to be able to retake this. Go something with a little bit more self-sustained. Actually, go Winston. I'm not even kidding you. Winston, right? Yep. I love this. Reason why they're running the double sniper comp, you can kind of bubble off the Zenyatta. If you play your bubble correctly, this is a great swap. This is a great swap. Minimize the damage you take, though. That was the exact opposite of minimizing the damage you take, but it will just, we'll go with it. Wait, a huge Torball! Wait a second! Just bubble cart, bubble cart, bubble cart. And they win the game. First of all, great swap on Winston. Loved it. That was a wonderful game. I want to point out, they get the dub. They have a player who went 22 and 35. And hear me out. I don't even think that player was playing inherently bad. I think sometimes you just get rolled in your spawn over and over again. And I know people are like, what do you mean 22 and 35? That's terrible. If you saw what was happening, they were keeping that Sombra distracted for about 24 minutes. All right? Which ended up being a Widow. And guess what? 22 and 35? No big deal. Yeah, the Junkrat is the one here, by the way. That was 22 and 35. The Hanzo on their team, 65 elims. Or 64 elims. Guess who wins this game? The most elims was 26 elims on blue team. And who wins? The blue team. Because you know what? They ended up working together, popping off. So, you know what? I think Julio was the real MVP here, chat. Am I wrong? Yeah, the Mercy played really well, too. Because Julio made sure you never got EMP'd. Why? Because they were in spawn getting EMP'd. When you were on the cart surviving for a long time, where was the DPS passive? It was going right into the HP of Julio over there. But guess what? Popped off and won. And there you go. You win the game, you get the dub, and the other team is probably so angry because they had 65 elims and still lost. How about that? Good job. But yeah, definitely gave you some feedback there too, so try to work on some of that. But overall, you played that very well, all things considered, and there you go. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. If you want to submit your own spectating, look in the description below. Join the Discord, that's where you would do that. Also, leave a comment, all of that will help. We also record these live on stream. If you see the webcam below there, you can see the Twitch chat. We have a lot of fun here. Stop by if you haven't. And with that being said, I hope you have an amazing day/night.